mean, how long does it take to update?
This is Sizzle Lean, powered by Fit to Be Trained, coming to you from the Deep End Broadcasting Network studios here in the lovely Virginia Beach, Virginia, in the United States of America. Do you want to be part of the 30-day or 60-day transformation? Then contact Sizzle, Karen, on any of her social media platforms at Fit to Be Trained. Now here's your host of Sizzle Lean, Karen Dougherty.
I thought you would say Dougherty for New Jersey, but that's
Karen
okay.
Dougherty.
Dougherty. I'm not used to not having the sizzle. That's how I know to like pull myself together, but that's okay. It's New Year's Eve. We're going to have a lot of sizzle in our lives all day long. We don't need the sound of bacon in the background today. Maybe tomorrow, but not today. But I've got a guest on today, so I am pretty darn excited, and I have been excited for days, I'll admit, because I'm going back into my youth and my childhood. My guest today is from New Jersey, where I am from, and I can even feel myself getting warm. And I have good memories of my guest. May I add that I have been admiring her biceps since we were in the 7th grade. That would make me at about 11 years old and her 12, because we would sit at we would walk out to the buses at Heritage Junior High, and and Nancy always had the best arms. And I've got some pretty good arms myself, so it takes one to know one, but Nancy's been rocking those things, those guns, before that saying was invented, right? And I always do a long intro, Nance, so hang in there. I've been following Nancy. You know, we went to junior high together, and we were friends with the same group. And then back then you'd hang out in groups, and maybe it's still like that now, but I never got to know her totally on a personal level, but I knew I always liked her, and we would laugh together. We'd be at the same parties and stuff like that. We always liked the same friends. So obviously when Facebook and all that stuff came on, did I follow Nancy? You betcha, right away. And there's my Minnesota coming out. But Nancy and I've been following you since Facebook came out in 2011 at least. And Nancy got into the health and wellness industry just like I did. And so you can imagine how excited I am at almost 60 years old to get to talk to a peer and somebody in the industry that I knew back in junior high. And I know the friends that we still have, we still share probably a lot of them. So reconnecting with you now as an adult is super, super exciting. So I want to introduce my friend, my pal, my colleague, now that we're grown. Nancy Adams is how I'm gonna I talked long enough that we got our audio back. But I'm known to have long intros because I have a lot to say about y'all. There's a lot to reason why I pick my guest, so Nancy, thank you so much for agreeing to come on and share some time with Steve and I today.
Thank you for having me. This is really exciting. And, I think we shared a boyfriend. I think Mitch I don't know.
We did?
Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah, scandalous themselves.
I know. We had such a great group of friends, because this got me rolling, Nance. I mean, I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to contact how many people to tell that they'll be so interested, like Debbie. And I don't know how much I'm allowed to say people's last names, so I'm not going to. But,
that's why
we share, Eileen.
Oh, yeah. Eileen lives
We share so many people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know. So this is going to be so healthy for both of us, in the sense that it's going to not only just connect you and I, which I feel like we have always had a mutual respect for each other through the years. Sure. I mean, for God's sake, you even rode a Harley. Like I was I mean, if I lived in that town with you, you would be my best friend. I just know it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It wasn't until
Absolutely.
yeah, for sure. I stopped riding because if I fall and I break my arm,
Yeah.
like
I
Jimmy
sold
just,
mine.
Jimmy just went down on 95.
Oh God, don't tell me.
Yeah.
You know what? I know that because I know he was in the hospital. I didn't know what for. I did not know that it was a motorcycle wreck. I just sold mine in October. Nancy,
Yeah.
got to the point where I was literally afraid. I wasn't into, I mean, I was scared of everybody on their phone. I'm not as
Mhm.
quick with my reflexes because I don't do it like I did when I was young. I took many
Yep.
years off to be a mom. I just am too valuable. I can't die right now. My kid needs me still. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so I had to get rid of
Yeah,
it.
Jimmy was going down 95 and the traffic stopped, and he always keeps enough distance, but
Mhm.
he thinks he may have overreacted and the bike went sideways and then it high sided him, so it flipped him. And I go, babe, what were you thinking? He's like, well, I was sliding down the road and the bike was sliding down next to me, and I'm thinking this is going to hurt. But you know, Karen, the craziest thing is he didn't dress for the slide, right? Like you're supposed to dress for the
Right.
slide. And he had a t-shirt on. There wasn't a hole in the t-shirt. You know, I mean, he was so lucky.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, he
Right.
had to have
Right.
surgery. Like he had and that's, you know, I mean, we'll get into it in this conversation he's the main reason I'm a health coach, because he had a heart attack at 40. Yeah. Yeah. So I've always been into health and wellness, right? Like, I mean, you like I've always.
I know that's what I want. I want to go back far. You're like, don't worry. I'm only going to keep you for 45 minutes to an hour, but I'm going to go back now. Remind me, because one of my questions too is obviously our roots growing up in New Jersey. Weren't you? You were. I was on the field hockey team in
I was on the track,
7th grade. Weren't you doing sports?
I was doing track.
Yeah.
So the gym coach was the track coach, and I was so fast. Like when Facebook first came out, everybody was like, they would message me, oh my God, I remember watching you run. Like your feet didn't even touch the ground, right? I was a sprinter. And he told me, the gym coach was like, you don't even have to come to practice. Just come to the meets. And the first race I ran, I ducked under the ribbon because I didn't know I was supposed to run through it. Like I didn't even know what I was doing, but I never lost.
Right? We were probably all out the night before. I hate to say it.
Totally. And then I went to the States, won my heat, but I was losing the final. And I mean, 100-yard dash is like less than 10 seconds. I walked off. Like, because I didn't know how to lose. Like nobody ever. So it took me so many years to unravel. If I can't be the best, I don't want to play. So that's
Nancy. That happened to me in swimming. I did the same thing. I quit because I didn't know how to lose. I was winning. And as soon as I started to lose, I even said to my mom, I was like, I'm out. I'm not doing it. I want to leave as a winner.
Yeah. And it can parlay in other aspects of your life, right? Like it can start to show up in other places of your life. Like, you know, if you're not a perfectionist, right? And we, you know, like we can't eat a piece of cake because, you know, it might affect our biceps. You know what I mean? Like, so that unraveled for me when I had a grandson. So at his first birthday party, everybody was eating ice cream. And I'm like, no, I'm a health coach. I don't eat ice cream. You know, but hoping that Jimmy would give me a bite of his ice cream, you know, and then I realized, and he didn't. So yeah, that's a whole nother 45-minute podcast.
Hey, we've got this podcast once a week. You can come back as many times as you want. Because that's often what happens is we find all these other things we want to talk about. And why I started this podcast is I wanted a place for people like you and me and Steve, obviously, to talk about how, because a lot of times people have a stigma about us, and we might be in, you know, where we're not, you know, it's just exercise or it's just this, or, you know, I like us to get in deep and really get a chance or a platform to talk about what we're into. Like I'm really into posture and that kind of stuff. And so I want you to know this is an open platform, not only today, but as much as you want. That's what this is for. So I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I need that.
That's okay. I mean, there's so many open, you know, whatever Steve calls them, when you've got all these open windows, right? Like, so I mean, there's so many directions that you can go. Even like when I went to school to be a massage therapist, I was like, oh my God, at the end of school, you're like, oh God, what am I gonna specialize in?
Mm-hmm.
So I started taking a bunch of classes, and you know, I'm really good at neuromuscular and deep tissue and sports. But when I lived in New Jersey, I went to college. I worked at Gold's Gym. I taught aerobics, you know, all that stuff. And then I went to college to be a dietitian. And the standard American diet that you were taught in the 80s used to give me such anxiety. Like I remember going to this one nursing home for field experience, and I had to leave. My panic, I was like, you feed people like this? Like, don't you understand that food is medicine? But at 25 years old, I didn't think I had a voice. I didn't think what I had to say mattered, you know, like, and they still feed people that way and think it's okay. You know,
I still feel that way.
Yeah.
I still often feel like I'm not heard.
Yeah. When Jimmy was just in the hospital with his open heart surgery, I was out, you know, running errands, and he sent me a message. He's like, get back here. And I'm like running through the hospital into the intensive care unit. And I'm like, what's the matter? And he's just sitting there like, the dietitian came in and she really freaked me out. It's like, oh my God, Jimmy, like, have we learned nothing? We don't listen to people in the hospitals. Like,
you don't listen to the right people.
Right. Like even the doctors, right? They get about an hour of nutrition training in college.
Right. Exactly.
You know? I mean, so Jimmy was the reason. So I went to school to be a dietitian, and then I moved to Florida. And I went to school to be a massage therapist, and I hated touching people. But because I was unraveling that if I can't be the best, I don't want to play games still, because it entered into all aspects of my life, right? Even in my career, it entered everywhere. So I was like, I don't care if I'm the best massage therapist on the planet. I just have to complete this. And I started getting the most amazing feedback. And I was like, wow, I guess I'm pretty good at this. You know, I mean, of course I am, right? Like it's physical fitness. I mean, it's the body, it's movement. And for the longest time, I would cry people's tears. Like I'm such an empath, and I don't know, but you know, like with Pilates, like you put your hands on somebody, and you know, you feel feelings that they're not expressing yet, and you know that they're holding them in their body somewhere, right? Like the body keeps the score. So then Jimmy had a heart attack. I'm trying to do this like really quickly. Jimmy had a heart attack.
Don't feel like you have to rush. You're doing good.
Well, Jimmy had a heart attack at 40. I'm just going to try to pull in the health coaching component. So Jimmy had a heart attack at 48 years old, and he started profusely sweating. You know, we came home. We were at lunch. We came home, and I opened up my medical dictionary and I looked up heat stroke, heat exhaustion, and I very reluctantly went to myocardial infarction, and it said patient will complain of pain behind the sternum. And just as I was reading that sentence, he's like, it's right behind my sternum. And I'm like, shut the book.
Oh my goodness. God is good.
Yeah. So we went to the hospital. He had a stent put in, and a week later they send you home with the, you know, the protocol of pills. And he was a fitness guy. I mean, Jimmy, you know, he was riding his bike. And so the ACE inhibitor, the beta blocker, the Plavix, you know, everything that was allowing his heart to heal. But he went back to the cardiologist for a follow-up visit, and he said, how long do I have to stay on this medication? And the doctor said, for the rest of your life. So in the parking lot, he said, I would have rather die. So I said, well, so let's start doing some research. So we found a holistic cardiologist down at Mount Sinai in Miami, and we went to him, and he took one look at Jimmy and said, I guarantee you're toxic with metals. And I was like, wow, what? Now, at the time, I was 43 years old. And I was going to so many doctors, and they're all like, everything you're experiencing is normal aging. And my mother's 43 years older than me. So I said, well, if this is normal aging, Mom, I'm going to be in a wheelchair by the time I'm 86. So we went down this rabbit hole with this doctor who, first of all, looked at me and said, well, yeah, you're within normal range, but you're not optimum. What was that? So that's when I learned about optimum blood levels. And I watched Jimmy. So then I started my education. And that was when I went to so many different certification programs for health coaching. Are you frozen?
Different certifications in around that subject.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Like,
I went to the
I'm having a hard time. Can
Yeah, just give her a half a second. It's taking a so give her a second, then she'll.
I missed some of it and I wanted to hear it because it was important. There, go back to where, and I'm trying to think where, right before your certification. So Jimmy, just keep going. I'm sorry, Nancy.
That's
sorry.
okay.
I just missed it. It's like the podcast lulled and I just want to make sure I get everything.
Right.
You were all around the mind. It was more about the heart attack. So were you focusing in your career? You're thinking, I want to know more about this subject or just basic?
No, just so we got
physiology.
We got Jimmy to a point where we understood he doesn't, like, today, if you have a heart attack, you're not on Plavix the rest of your life. At that point, it was like, oh no, you take it for the rest of your life. So, we,
right.
But we didn't. His doctor was like, no, after a year, you go off it. And so because of helping him and basically coaching him through it together, both of us, I decided to go to the Institute of Integrative Nutrition and their health coaching program. So I took their health coaching program. And when I was finished with it, I was like, okay, that wasn't enough. So I took their advanced gut health course. I took their advanced hormone health course. I took their emotional eating course. I was like Helen Keller, right? Like I just couldn't get enough. Oh my God. So then I went to the Functional Medicine Coaching Academy. Then I took Josh Catalis's bioelimination and detoxification course. And then I went to the School of Applied Functional Medicine. The School of Applied Functional Medicine is full of like acupuncturists and doctors and nurses and PAs and NPs.
Cool. Thank you for clarifying that. Yeah,
that one was a little deep. I mean, it was super deep for me. But one of the girls in the class ahead of me, her husband said to her once, Bonnie, I don't need to know how to build the clock. I just want to know what time it is. And I realized that most people, like probably not you, I could have probably a 2-hour conversation with you.
Oh, yeah, right. I know.
Like the Dutch test and, all of
But
those
I understand husband too, because I'm a little bit like him too with nutrition, which is funny because I'm more into not even physiology. I'm more into anatomy. And so I glaze over with nutrition. So I've always had friends like you in my back pocket that I could go run to. And that's why I was reacting to the list of education that you go through, because a lot of that stuff puts me to sleep. I can't deal with it. I'm more anatomy, mechanics, body mechanics. So I love getting with you because I learned so much. Do you know what I'm saying?
Sure. I mean,
you would put me to sleep, but going to school for it, I couldn't do it. Like I went to nutrition and I joke with people because I had nutrition in college, right? And I'm like, when I got out of school and I started doing this as my career, I would joke with clients. I was like, well, I slept through nutrition, so you're going to have to get somebody to help you with that. And I can hook you, and then I'd hook her or him or her up with you. You know what I mean? Just to be honest.
What's so fascinating. So after I realized that, okay, I'm going too deep with this. I don't need, I mean, yes, it's great to have the education, but I went back.
For sure.
Right. I went back to IIN and took their alumni program. So it came full circle because, Karen, at the end of the day, the drivers of disease are crap food, stress, and toxins. And we can overcomplicate it. Like we can overcomplicate it all day long if you want to, but we don't need to, right? Like most of us know what crap food is, but there might be things like my older brother just had open heart surgery and he's on Coumadin now. So he can't eat dark leafy greens. So those are toxic to him right now, right? Like because
see, that's the kind of stuff that's why I'm so glad you were willing to come on, because even somebody like me, I'm learning. Keep going.
Right. But we don't know what crap food, right? Like clearly we know going to McDonald's, right, is not really what we want to do on a daily basis. but my body might
Right.
be reacting to something. So we need to, you need to sit down and figure that out. And, toxins, I mean, they're so ubiquitous, right? Like they're everywhere.
Well, I was
So
interested in the metals. What about how did Jimmy get full of metal? Full of
Well,
heavy
he's-
metal. But anyway, sorry.
well, the crazy thing is my metals were higher than his. Okay, so Jimmy's a welder, so
Okay.
that could have something to do with it. How your body
Fish? What about
detoxes.
the fish? Don't they say we get a bunch of metal from the fish?
Wait, okay, so I have a cute story. So after we found out about this, and Jimmy, he was doing chelation therapy to rid his body of the metals. So the metals.
What is that?
Like,
Wait, you went too big. What does that mean? Chelation.
Chelation is the bonding agent. So you can do chelation intravenously, or you can do it orally. You can also get it, like if you're a green juice drinker, you can throw cilantro.
Oh, I love cilantro.
Cilantro is a natural chelator.
What does that mean? That it's separating the metal out of the blood?
So, in layman's terms, excuse me.
This is fascinating.
In layman's terms,
fascinating.
All of your cells have like a docking station, right? So, like, imagine that your cell. So, imagine you eat, nutritious food, and the food goes into your cell. And your cell takes what, vitamins
What
or
it
minerals
needs.
or whatever it needs. If you have mercury or cadmium or lead or anything stuck in that docking station, then that cell can't get fed properly, right? So the chelation, which used to be DMSA, I think they got rid of the DMSA, now it's EDTA. It pulls it away, right? So that's why you want to sweat, you want to get in a sauna,
Oh, cool.
Most people, right? Most people aren't toxic with metals. My metals were higher than his metals, but his body is different than my body, right? Because we're all bio-individually different. So, you can do provoked urine tests, and it will show you like what your levels are. For probably the first 10 years after the heart attack, Jimmy used to do a metals test every year. And one year on the anniversary, I got a letter from the Department of Health. And I'm like, oh no, what has he been sleeping with hookers? Like, who gets letters from the Department of Health about something? Well, so
right.
his arsenic levels were so high that the lab had to contact the Department of Health. So when he called the Department
my goodness.
Well, wait. So when he called the Department of Health, the Department of Health told him that his arsenic levels were high. And of course, Jimmy being Jimmy said, oh, my girlfriend doesn't cook enough. Oh no, wait, what did he said? My girlfriend, I forget exactly how he put it. And they said, no, that's inorganic arsenic. This is organic arsenic. So if you eat a lot of chicken and it's not organic chicken, it's in the chicken feed. So if you think about it, like whatever the chicken is eating, is in the meat, and that's you're eating it. So there's arsenic in rice, there's arsenic in chicken because there's arsenic in chicken feed. So we're getting these metals, like I said, they're ubiquitous. So Dr. Gilbron did a whole. He was part of a chelation study down at Mount Sinai, and he did a whistleblower. The name of the video was Unleaded, because of the benefits at the end of the study that they found for heart disease, because he was a cardiologist. And when it was presented to the American Heart Association, they were like, yeah, that's great. We're not getting behind it. And the benefits are unbelievable. Yeah, it was a pretty cool, and he did like a really cool, but he's one of those holistic / functional medicine doctors that basically he ended up in jail for a little while and had his license taken away from him. In his mind, at least he's still here, but I think people are starting to.
Why did he get taken? Why did his license get taken away? Because he knew too much?
Well, so if you think about, like, if you were to ever talk to Chad or Google, like a lot of functional medicine doctors 20 years ago, were basically banned, and they were silenced any way they could be silenced, right? Like, because Yeah. I mean, the only cure out there is medication in most people's minds, right? Because that's where all the money is.
Well, one of our other guests, Stephanie Rothkar, if you scroll back on that, she was, and you know how peptides is all the big
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Now she was kind of early on that.
Yeah.
And she was explaining to us, about shadow banning, how they'll, hush, and yeah, that I find that fascinating that
And they
that
keep taking the peptides, they keep pulling them, right? Like,
happens. And of
so they
course it
have to
happens.
rename them, right? So like the BPC 157 is now pentadecaarginine. You know what I mean? Like they have to take one chemical out, put another chemical in because they work. So the FDA doesn't. I mean, there's no money in cures,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. It's so, yeah. That's why I want, and Stephanie had to come on a couple times too, because you just branch out into these subjects that just need their own hour.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting, but it's also, it can be, a little bit. I had to stop watching documentaries on food because one year I forgot what was going on with me. I think it was just basically that my son was like 14 and now he's 21. So it was a while ago, but you're basically stuck in the house. Like they're old enough to be, they don't need you anymore, but you can't go too far because they really do need you. So I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to educate the heck out of myself. And this is outside of my job. So I did start to get involved in nutrition, and I started watching a lot of documentaries, and you go down the rabbit hole, and it all goes back to kind of the subject of what we're talking about, how, the good stuff is hushed out. And I had to stop watching it because it's very disheartening. You're like, oh my goodness. And now here we are at 2026. Can you believe it? And Ian's 21. So that was 7 years ago, how the food has changed. It talked about in the documentaries 7 to 10 years ago what was going to happen with our food, and it's happening. Whole food is harder and harder to get, and everything's got chemicals on it. And the problems with meat that were coming down the pike is kind of happening. Ground beef was going to have filler in it. And if I really try it, 7 years ago, I'm sure that they were saying in the documentary, within 10 to 20 years this will start to occur because of the shortage of good products. And I'm interested in all the toxins and stuff. It's disheartening though, isn't it?
Well, it is.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. And it's, the toxins, right? So like I said, if you go far enough upstream, right, crap food, stress, and toxins. And I'm going to use my brother as an example. My brother just had open heart surgery. So my year started out with Jimmy having open heart surgery and ended with my brother having open heart surgery. Now, Jimmy has a genetic.
Gracious.
I know. Jimmy has a genetic component, which I didn't even know existed. So I met with a genetic doctor 2 years ago because I have a genetic mutation that causes neuroendocrine tumors. So they actually tell me, they're like, we don't really know what to do with you. You're the only patient we have that has this gene that doesn't have a sarcoma. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? Like, does that mean it's going to happen?
And a sarcoma, I think, is like a cyst or a
tumor. Yeah.
So they sarcoma? A tumor, right? Okay.
So with this type of mutation, a tumor could show up anywhere from like my head to my abdomen, or my pelvis. So I get a full body MRI every year. My biological mother, who I met when I was 35, who lived in she worked at Shore Memorial. She lived in Summers Point. And I used to party in Ocean City at the waterfront right across the bridge in Summers Point. And she was literally right around the corner. I mean, come on. That's a whole nother podcast in and of itself.
Nancy, I forgot that about you. I'm adopted too.
Yeah.
I was adopted too. Yeah, that's right. And now I remember because we did talk. I did get to meet my biological mother when it was probably, because I can't believe I'm 59 now. So I was probably about 49, 50.
Do you still talk
and she's real young. Yes, we have, yes and no, like no bad blood, nothing like that.
Right.
Just kind of what was happening with me, Nancy, and you'll appreciate this is they live in North Jersey, I'm South Jersey.
Right.
And my father and mother, my mother had already passed, and my father was nearing. So every moment that I am in New Jersey, I am with him.
Sure.
So and obviously they understood that and respected that. Well, my father has passed. So now I'm like, I think it's time for me to reignite those relationships when I can really put some effort, time, relationships take, you got to feed them and do well. And so I couldn't do it back then. I just had to be with my aging parents. So now time is right. So oh, yeah, that's really cool. But that is a whole different podcast, isn't it? But I'm glad that you got to meet yours. Yeah, for sure. I knew that would happen with us.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
So my brother's surgery, they told him in the hospital, it was all lifestyle, right? Like lifestyle medicine is real. Like my brother's a type 2 diabetic. He is, he's on blood pressure medication. He's on cholesterol medication. And back in September, he was like, but all my numbers are good. I go, Pat, you don't understand. They're not good. You're not fixing the problem by being on medication. You're just masking the symptoms. So the disease is still there.
Right.
You have to change your lifestyle.
Right.
That's the
Who's blowing leaves?
I think it's outside my condo.
I thought it was on your end. I couldn't figure it out at first. It's no big deal. That's no big deal. I just at first was like,
hopefully they'll go away.
Got to get your leaves blown.
Yeah,
just
right.
has to happen.
But so
no worries.
Lifestyle, right?
I just wanted to make sure none of us were blowing up from toxin.
No. Crap food, stress, and toxins. Like I recently, like even with all the education that I have, like somebody brought to my attention living on a golf course. And I thought, oh my goodness, I never even really thought about it because they're so manicured and the amount of chemicals that are used to keep a golf course manicured. And like most people that golf, especially down here, you golf all year round and you're golfing, 4 or 5 times a week. So you really have
bugs. Yeah, the chemicals are the fertilizer. That never occurred to me either. That's why that's another reason why I like having this podcast. Look how much I've learned so much every week. And you and I are definitely, and Steve, all three of us are into the nerdiness of these subjects. I love it. And you can't learn too much. I never thought of that. Parks, those beautiful places.
But like I said, they're ubiquitous, right? Like you can't get away from them. They're there. So what do you do to benefit your body, right? You throw
exactly. What do we do, Nance? Do you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like you throw bunches of cilantro in your green drink and you make sure that you move your body and you sweat. You got to sweat. Like, and if you can't, if you're not breaking a sweat, in the gym, then go into a sauna a couple times a week if you can find one, like get your morning sunlight, like good sleep, all of that stuff matters. I think
that's really, I like how you said sweat because that is kind of the big thing, with the saunas. And I lucked out and got to take a real Native American sweat lodge not that long ago. And it felt so good because I'm not a sauna person. And so sweating is something we really need. Lucky for me, I love cilantro. I know that parsley, I don't get it very often, but parsley, I was told is good for cleaning. It cleans your blood, cleans things. So cilantro and parsley are so similar. Does that mean that those kind of really green, leafy greens are really,
yeah, all of that stuff. Yeah. Crap food, stress, toxins. I think stress is one of the biggest problems. That's one of the biggest problems we have in the health world. You know, how do you manage your stress?
And our culture is just pounding us with it.
Mhm.
Like I have always been a workaholic. I've always been a holic of something. So if you're going to take my alcohol away, which most of my adult life I've had to let go of alcohol. I've had some bumps in the road where I'd relapse or stuff like that, but I'm alcoholic. So you take my alcohol away and I'm going to do it shows up in work, it shows up thankfully in fitness.
Right.
But I have so many issues with that go along with that, which again, a whole nother podcast, like the perfectionism, the lack of I even forget now why I even brought it up, but the stress. Oh, I'm so used to being in that high, like my body actually thrives in cortisol. And I turned 60 this year and I'm so excited to do it. I've never felt better. And you know why I've never felt better? Because I have tried to start resting and stop that bullshit of everything has to be perfect and blah, 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 like on myself. I mean, I've been in a therapy since I was 12 years old. You know, it's like, oh my God, when am I going to learn some of this stuff? It's because I'm really quite a good functioning human being. And then some things I just can't tackle, you know, the self-esteem stuff, and then perfectionism, procrastination. Last week I did a podcast on grace and because procrastination and laziness, you know, the difference of resting and lazy is worlds apart. But for some of us, like myself, God forbid if I rest, I'm like, oh, I'm being lazy, you know, and I'm trying to get away from that and trying to bring people with me because I think our culture is basically like that. I think I'm not alone.
Well, I tell my
a lot of people that I talk to.
Yeah, I tell my massage clients all the time, you don't overtrain, you under recover.
Yeah.
Right? So, especially as we get older, like I turned 60 this year, right? So, as we get older, I ask my body, like I don't push through those moments anymore where my body's asking, can I not do this today? I honor that.
Yeah.
And it's really difficult, right? But your body shows
How long, I was going to ask you, when did you realize you need to start doing that? Like I would say I've started doing it within the last year, maybe two.
Yeah, no,
like
it's
new.
So
I'm embarrassed to say,
yeah,
it's new.
So I've probably been in some kind of adrenal fatigue since I was like 45, right? Because I think it's also that, like, I don't know about you, but whenever I go back to New Jersey, I'm like, oh my God, like there's nobody on the road at 9:00 at night. You come down to Miami and people are, you know, all over the place 24. It's like Las Vegas, right? Like it's always going. But I think up there, everybody, like you get a job, you work 9 to 5, you know, like it's just
right.
So, and we're doers, right? Like my mother was like, you know, you do, like we started working before we knew how to drive. And, you know, we've just been doing, and, you know, we're human doers, not human being. So
be useful, you know, be useful.
And this year really knocked me. I mean, Jimmy was in the hospital 4 times, my brother, and I said, that's it. Like, that's it. Rest is so important. And I understand the importance of sleep, you know? So yeah, I mean, I'm 60 years old when I'm finally giving myself, I mean, I've understood it for a very long time, but I'm giving myself mission, you know?
Oh, I've taught it my whole career, and I've been in this career almost 40. Like I can't really say 40 years. I've been in this career 30 years. For the first 10, I did it like I was an aerobics instructor, but you know, that's not nothing. It's just that I think what people don't realize is when we really make a decision to go into this career, most of us are pretty highly educated and we take a whole bunch of stuff on the side, you know, like as long as I've been following you on social media, I knew how many things you were taking on the side because you would post about stuff and it was always interesting and it was always in the wellness industry of some sort of, So that's why I wanted to have this platform for us to talk about that stuff, because sometimes we just don't get to, and then like how I even got on this was saying, I've been teaching rest, I've been teaching being kind to yourself, I've been teaching all that stuff forever. I just wasn't
right.
do as I say, not as I do kind of thing. I didn't know how to. And then I've been in therapy in and out my whole life. I haven't been in therapy much 2025 because I was trying to use the tools. You learn your tools and then you go out in the world and then you go back out. You're like, I think I have some questions I need answered, and then you get your tools. But yeah, I'm bound and determined, because I go into my 60s. I am not going in there, like you said, in adrenal fatigue, because I would literally feel that feeling, adrenal fatigue. Oh, it's the worst, isn't it? Last time I had it, I went to a library, and I wanted to just sit in the library and just be like, or cortisol. I feel like I'm like constantly cortisol, which even though I don't look like I'm in cortisol, I don't have the belly fat and all that, but that's because I'm a fitness professional. So we get away with things, they get covered up, it's just, that's what's great about this job. It's great, but then it's not, we're very, very healthy, but we're in a space where we can be unhealthy too. And a lot of us are, once you get us all in a room and we're talking to each other. Like just the other day, I tried calling another trainer just to go, are you so burnt out? Like this time of year, I'm usually so fried. I mean, like just sit and stare kind of stuff.
Right.
And I didn't, and it's yearly. I'm always like this time of year. And I love my job. It's just, I'm fried. Like I'm going to probably do nothing tonight, or maybe go to this little gathering, but I'm going to really try not to work.
Yeah. I mean, you have to choose you. I think when you get into this field, right, where you're working with people on a, personal trainer, massage therapy, health coaching, anything where you're working with people and you're really passionate about it, it drains you, right? Like my nurse practitioner asked me when she said, Nancy, are you an HSP? I'm like, what's an HSP? So it's not an empath. It's a highly sensitive person. And when she explained it, like, yes, that's absolutely who I am. I don't know why I'm choking so bad. I think it's because I've had this cold and I haven't really talked for days.
Could it be them? Like, and plus they're probably blowing a bunch of pollen around.
Oh, they might
with
be.
the blowers.
Yeah, my windows aren't open, but yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm sure that's probably part of it. I know pollen's terrible here in Virginia, and you're in Florida. So I always joke, that's the price we pay for all these beautiful, gorgeous flowers.
Yeah, right.
Our faces look like a flower.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. But yeah, so we're not even flinching here. Oh, are you coughing? We're so used to it.
Yeah, we're so used to it.
Right? Yeah, you sound normal to me. In fact, but I wanted to go back to, because I know my timer. Yeah, I knew it. I knew I was getting too interested. But I'm set on 45. So what I do is go I just want alerts. And that's more for our listeners. I could talk to you all day long. I just know that people you and I talked about it in our email yesterday. The attention span is only so long.
Oh, for sure.
But what I did want to talk about is how you said, how like as a massage therapist, you're touching people, and I'm Pilates, and you're right. I forget how much. In fact, I like you that we always, even when we were little and we'd be at a party, we'd be like, oh my God, I'm like that too. And even still, when I went into school for Pilates reformer, because I did mat for many, many years, because it fixed my back, and reformer fixed me. It's just the school was too expensive, right? I was just living on, basic fitness and mat. And then when I went into reformer school, they were like, oh, you have to always touch the client. And I was like, I'm not really a touchy-feely person. And they were like, well, you're going to need to get over that or leave. I was like, oh, Okay. And I did. And it was funny in my exam too. They even were like, you over one instructor was talking to another instructor, and she goes, I knew that one instructor was full of shit, full of you know what, because she said Karen Dougherty touched too much. And I was like, because I always was not one too. They were always trying to push me to. But now I have really found a balance in it. And it really was in personal training too, how you would just bring their shoulders back, so they could open up through their chest and stuff like that. But yeah, Pilates, I have to touch them all the time, even just taps. But I do get very drained because it is that personal one-on-one. And I forgot that I'm really touching. And I just realized, massage therapists, you guys are, how do you deal with, because I too, I'm a highly sensitive person and probably empath. And not probably, I mean, I'm definitely an empath. And so, yeah, how do you guys take care of yourselves? They say in an ideal day, trainers should really only have 4 sessions. Or it was actually me and my Pilates reformer trainer when I was like 30. We talked about, as fitness trainers, what's your max? And 4 a day is really good, but that's only 4 hours. But then a lot more entails in our job, like we do the programming and all that stuff. People don't realize. They think we just show up and, do our little exercises. But how about massage therapists? And I'm sorry, I'm kind of stuttering today. But a lot of us need to eat, so we have to work a little bit more than 4 a day. So that's how the burnout happens. And 5 is really max for me. I mean, I've had just recently, like before I was traveling, one day I had 8 clients, and I was like, wow, like I was happy that I was able to even have 8 clients, but I knew in a health that I better be careful. You know what I mean? Like tomorrow I better rest. I was traveling, so I was slamming them in one day, so I knew I was going to rest and have time to recoup on the vacation. But massage therapy, that's way, you're really touching people. Do you have to be even more careful than us in a sense?
So I've been doing
with rest and not picking up everybody's stuff.
Yeah. So I've been doing it for like 25 years. So over the years, I've learned how to manage that and to protect my physical being. But I love my clients so much that sometimes it definitely drains me. But now I'm really particular about who I touch. Like I'm really particular. I've cried many people's tears for them. Like, I don't know why I'm crying, and I'll be crying. I had a guy one time, Karen, that came in, and I thought I was being punked. He was an amputee from above the knee down, and he wanted me to work on the energy where the foot used to be. And I was like, are you serious? Yeah. So he was very serious. So I had to get very serious and very focused, and I had to call in all my, and I worked on where the foot would have been had he had a foot.
Right.
Watched, and I worked, and I worked on the calf, and I mean, it was just the air.
Right.
It was the energy though, right? So there's so much energy exchange. If you think about your ethereal body and all of the bodies that are out here, right? Not just this meat suit that we walk around in, right? Like there's so much energy around us, and we are energy. I mean, if you see, like a friend of mine passed away a couple years ago, and I saw his body, and I was like, wow, if I ever knew we aren't this, like we are not this body. I mean, it's just, so there's there's some Reiki techniques you can do to protect yourself. But, the most important thing is, like we said, stay hydrated, get rest, understand what's happening, because you're not going to stop doing it. There's going to be another day where you're going to send me a message and you're going to go, I fucking did it again. Excuse me. I did it again. I did 8 people, But now you know, like, okay, this is going to drain me more than it did 10 years ago and more than it did 20 years ago.
Right. Yeah. I am really honoring the age thing, which is why I'm also so thrilled to be I always have been like that my whole life. I've always enjoyed getting older, but which is weird in our culture because our culture doesn't seem to like it. But this truly is our golden years. You know, my son's 21. It's not that he doesn't need me. Of course he needs me, but I get to go out and be me now. And I've been waiting for 21 years for this because I didn't have him until I was 38. So I got to live as Karen Dougherty for 38 years. I was single. I was that kind of girl. I never had the pleasure of getting married and I did have the pleasure of having some really nice boyfriends, I might add. It wasn't them. It was me usually, and you hear me even stutter as I say it. I just never did well in the relationship department. But when I get to heaven, I still get to thank God because everything else has been really, really cool. And you and I both know it ain't over yet. You know, I could end up still meeting Mr. Wonderful. I just hadn't prior to getting pregnant with my son. So 38 years I was on my own, living my life. And, you know, I did a lot of volunteer work. I was alcoholic then too. I've been alcoholic since I was about 12. So I always got to work in those realms, which is really cool. Working in addiction and helping people get sober over all different things because I was addicted to hard drugs too. So I feel comfortable in all those realms, you know, and whatever one comes down the pike. Although I will say now, as a 60-year-old lady, I don't know nothing about that world. I crack up. I really just
and I work with I mean, I don't know how much of that world even, like, it seems to be really cool not to drink now, right? Like,
oh yeah, I know. We've talked about that. Yeah, like my son doesn't drink. I mean, he does. I mean, he drinks. He's normal. He drinks like a norm. We call, as alcoholics, we call people normies. You know.
Right.
Yeah, he's very normal, and I always joke I like the thirsty drinkers, the ones that can drink and get away with it and party and know how to stop where I just didn't. That's why I get fired. I'm out of the game. It's like, Dougherty, you don't know when to put it down. I'm like, I know.
Right.
I think I'm so fun, and everybody else is like, no, you're not.
No, you're
so
I was the same way. Yeah.
So I stopped, and I have so much fun now, and it's great. You know, I am much happier sober, and I'm glad that we're talking about this because you're right. It's almost in style not to drink.
It is.
And one of my favorite programs, and I only take like certain. I don't really advertise it a whole lot. I notice you don't. I advertise a lot online compared to you, but I don't really advertise about my sobriety and fitness program. I like to get people when they get out of treatment and they've already made the decision, you know, they're like, oh man, I can't do this anymore. And I tend to like to be older. I'll work with younger girls and men and women, but I like to, you know, when they're really like, oh my God, I got to quit doing this. Right. And then I love getting them out and teaching them how to live in the world without it. And how great it is, because I think a lot of people think, oh, I'm not going to have fun anymore. You're not going to have fun anymore. That shit's like having a third job. It's exhausting to be addicted. Exhausting. I'm like, you're so free now. And if you can, it's so fun. And the foods, like I would hook up. I actually have done my research, but I'm glad that we have reconnected because I can tell with your knowledge. There's so many things that they can eat to actually promote, you know, getting stuff out of their body. Because even if they go to those fancy rehabs, I think some of them are teaching them about nutrition, but they're only there for 30 to 60 days, depending on their program. So, you know, it's fun to teach them how to work in their own kitchen and the foods that they, you know, want to eat. Pomegranate juice will stop heroin craving. It won't stop it. It won't stop. But I'm sorry I said that world. It's a shame, but it helps. Like when you're getting sober and you've let go of that world, like the opioids or anything in that, even Suboxone, pomegranate juice is pretty magical. And it's almost, I found out later, like one of my clients was like, that's biblical. And I was like, no, I did not know that. So I'm always learning, but certain foods that really help. I don't got to tell you. I feel stupid that I'm even saying it. That really help promote. Yeah,
I
don't tell you.
I want to honor you though, because I know how hard it is. So I have an older brother who got sober, and I have a younger brother who just couldn't. And he took his own life because he just couldn't get sober. Like alcohol just ran his life. And
I know about that.
Yeah, I know how hard it is. And another thing I wanted to say, like I can lift weights in the gym all day long, but you Pilates girls, like I feel like one of the football players when I go in those Pilates reformers. And then I did a Legree class. Are you crazy? Like I'm in the class.
I haven't taken one of them yet.
God, I was doing like kind of like in a down dog, right? And I think you do it in Pilates too, where like your feet are turned in one direction and you're kind of going back and you're doing like obliques. And I went back and my sacrum went, yeah, we're not doing this. And I was like, oh
it is God. Really, it's really something. And I want you to know that the Pilates, it's really funny because I love Pilates, okay? But let's get this straight. No. I respect Pilates. I don't necessarily love it. I like CrossFit. I like Olympic weight training. I'm a really decent athlete for my age group.
Right.
And now I've really pulled back. Like I joke, people are like, you go to CrossFit. I'm like, CrossFit is so fun now. Right. Oh my God. Because I don't really feel the pressure to do. But I want to say that I am lifting heavier weights, and heavy being 100 pounds for me, which is super light in CrossFit. Like I might, I'm deadlifting probably 140, which is really light for some of people, but I don't want to intimidate other women and be like 140 is light. I might do that one time. And when I'm at CrossFit, I don't go over 100 pounds. That would be like if somebody was like, all right, $1 million and do a PR, and I would probably do 140, but like 5 years ago, I probably would have been really trying. Right. Now I don't even go over 100. It's like, that's so funny. I would never. I just don't feel that that's even good for me anymore because of my form. Right. And I've been through so much physical therapy and the mechanics of my body, and I'm petite. It's never going to change. I would go in that CrossFit gym with the bigger girls and be like, "Hi, let's work out together." And they would joke with me. I was like, "I want to be like you guys." And they were like, "Well, Sizzle, you got to pick some weight up." And I was like, I know. And because
I want to be respectful of your time, but seriously, do they call you Sizzle?
Yeah, that's my name.
That's your name is Sizzle.
Yes, isn't that great?
It's awesome. Wait,
may it never end. May I take that to the grave? Happened. I know I love that one.
Tell me how that came about, and then we can wrap it up.
I went. Okay, me and Steve can vouch for this one. We both were working out at a CrossFit gym called Valiant CrossFit. It is no more, unfortunately. But we still go to we attend Takeover. Bought the Valiant CrossFit. I just felt the need to blurt that out because we are in Virginia Beach, Virginia, United States of America. But anyway, we would all get nicknames. It was easier for that way the coaches would know who we were, and so as soon as you came in, you pretty much got your name. Right. And so my first day was a 4:30, and it was hot out, so it was hot, and I was younger. I was like 41, 42. No. I was probably I was young. I was like 44, and so I'm running hard. I'm pushing hard. So I think my face was really red, maybe. I'm a redhead. You know me. I'm a little bit. I don't really know why Ned named me Sizzle, but when I came in and he goes, and you're Sizzle. And
That's
I
awesome.
remember that
Because
there
you're
was a
hot,
Navy SEAL right next to me. And for some reason, I was hot or whatever. And Navy SEALs, I always feel like you can say anything to. I mean, they're so trained. You could say anything, right?
Right.
Nothing's going to hurt them. And I leaned back. I go, I wonder why he called me that. You know what? I go, because do I look like an old pothead? Or no, what did I say? Do I look like an old burnout?
Oh my God,
And he
so
busts
funny.
out laughing. He goes, I don't think they mean that. I go, well, that's my paranoia talking. And then we went and ran together because I'm pretty sure they don't mean that.
Yeah,
And I'm
pretty
like,
sure
I
they
don't
don't.
know why.
That's so cute.
But I know. And then Sizzle, do you remember when that fake bacon came out?
No.
You might not because you're Jersey, and no way would Jersey ever have fake bacon. But Sizzle was fake bacon. I know Jersey doesn't fake their meat out. Those Italians would kick us out, right? But it was like late 70s Sizzle. I remember my mom trying it. I remember the commercials. So one time I was walking in a party and I was doing a bodybuilding show. So I was really lean. And my girlfriend's husband, who named me Sizzle, he was the husband of the head coach at the gym. And I walked in and he goes, Sizzle. And he's younger. So I wondered, I was like, I wonder if he remembers that bacon. And so then when Steve was like, years later, because this is years ago, Steve's like, Sizzle, you should do a podcast. And I was going through a lot emotionally, my kid, and just life was tough. And I was like, nah. And then I slept on it and I was like, Karen, don't be stupid. This is an opportunity for you. And I always cry, I don't have a voice. Now I got a voice. I got a mic. I can invite my friends that I feel have not had voices either.
That's awesome.
And we can come on and we can talk about what we're into. Do we have 1 million followers? No, but I want to say this too. Like I'm glad that we're talking so openly. Can I put this on the Cherry Hill East? Can I let them know that we did this together?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know
because I have to start promoting this.
Yeah.
Because I think we would get a lot of.
Yeah. I don't know if you limit yourself to just fitness people, but I think conversations are really interesting and you never know which direction they're going to go. Right. Like, so you should invite people to be on your show. Like, just, hey, if you're interested, reach out to me and be on my show. Yeah, for sure. Promote it anywhere.
I've been doing this for like a year. I've been doing this for like a year. I've only invited women so far because what I said, I was like, all right, I'm going to go through all the women until I run out of women because we tend to not have a voice in the fitness world. So even in 2025, so I haven't ran out of women yet. But we've had CrossFit champions on here. You'll have to scroll through my Spotify or my Apple. We're on YouTube too right now. So you are seen. And so what I want to start doing is really advertising this. We're good at it now. We've got great conversations. We've got we've had almost 1,000 downloads, which isn't a lot at all, but it's also not nothing. Once a week we've held our ground and our guests are getting better and better. I've got an Olympian. I'm trying to get her. I want her so bad. And I've had some really great CrossFit athletes in here, and I leaned in there and I leaned in the worlds that I was in, like people that I knew, and I've been in the industry long enough that was easy to fill up 25 to 35 spots, because I do I'm trying to get a guest every week. I was thinking for this year, every other week, maybe. So then I'd only have to fill 25 spots. There's 52 weeks in a year. We take some off. But anyway, I wanted to keep it in the women. And then I thought, well, I'm kind of starting to run out because obviously there's a lot of men that I could have on here. And I'm starting to want to open up to that.
Yeah.
And I want to touch in lots of different areas. Like I want to keep it fun. Like I'd like to have a Zumba instructor in here because Zumba's fun. I've done it a couple of times, but I think it's held its ground. I'm not good at it because I'm not good at that dancey stuff, but I have tons of respect for it. And it's been around for a long time. It's held its ground. It deserves some respect.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I wanted to get a transgender coach in here because I wanted to talk about the men going into the female sports and how they feel about it. And is it fair? Because my obvious opinion is that it's not, but I'm open to, I think it needs to be talked about. I think they need their own space. Because they deserve a space too.
For sure.
But I'm also 59 years old and I don't know how to talk, right? Because I was joking. I was like, I want to get this coach on, and I kept calling him a he. And my one client's like, first of all, you got to stop doing that. It's a she. And I'm like, I know, right? I'm 59 years old. My name is Karen. I don't know how to talk in this new world, but I want to learn. I want to learn. I want to be in this space. And I want everybody to be in this space and feel comfortable too, right?
Cool. Yeah.
So we got to talk about some of this stuff. So I was hoping, people would be willing to come on to a smaller podcast to kind of go, all right, I don't want to get my feet wet here. This might be an uncomfortable conversation, but and I think there's a place for us, and I think there's a place, but I got to start advertising it. I haven't been doing that. And a lot of that is, a lot of it's my confidence issue, which, I'm in therapy, not right now, but I mean, it's been an issue, and I've got to get through that and start. And a lot of it's time, to be honest with you. This is trying to get it out there. So if you guys are listening, because this is a live one now, tell your friends about it. Let's start beefing it up, getting more followers and getting more listeners. And I'll work on getting more great guests like Nancy, and like I've had this past year, we've had some fantastic guests that are coming back on, which makes me feel good. When you all say you want to come back on, what that tells me is that I've provided a safe space for you. And that's what one girl said to me. She goes, I remember when I met you, you made me feel safe and happy. And I almost started crying. I was like, that's the best compliment that anybody could ever say to me, because to make somebody feel safe. So I want this to be a platform where people feel safe, everyone, no matter what your opinion is, and they can be different. We're all so grown now. Oh my God. We're all so grown now. We're allowed to be in the same room together and disagree. And by now we should be able to handle that in a graceful manner too. So, with that being said, hey, and it's New Year's, Nancy. Thanks so much for coming on here for New Year's Day. And you had even said that you were like, I kind of want to do it on New Year's Eve.
I did. Yeah. I want to end 2025 and go into 2026 in a positive, and thank you for the space to do that.
I love that. And I never got to say anything about this. You had the reason why I asked you on here, and I forgot to mention it, was you had said, you were looking into other areas with your career. And I never even looked at this once. Here's my little notes. But I think we covered really everything. What is your future? What is your future vision? Are you considering expanding, or are you just going to keep expanding in the education that you're in right now?
So we talked briefly about, people not really drinking anymore. So what seems to be happening is communities are being created of wellness, right? So there's a place down here in Fort Lauderdale that just opened called Blue. There's a place out in Weston called Biohackers. My nurse practitioner, she does all the peptides and all that stuff. And I kind of call myself a health coach concierge, right? Like, so to go and work somewhere maybe where people are a little confused. Like when I worked at Gold's Gym, people would come in all scared, right? You can always see the scared ones that wanted to go to a gym. And I would always take them up to the scariest steroid guy, right? Like they're just people. And a lot of people don't know what direction to go and what to prioritize in the wellness biohacking world. So I kind of am putting my mind in that direction, like to go work somewhere, maybe part-time as like a concierge, like a health coach concierge. You know, what's next for you? You know, do you need peptides? Do you need chelation? You know, what would benefit you the most right now?
Sounds fantastic. I'm so glad that we connected because you sound so confident in your space, you know, like you really know your stuff. And I joke with all of us seem so young, you know, because we've taken care of ourselves, we've done all this, but we're masters. We are masters at every trade that we're in. We can't help it. It doesn't matter if you're a bartender. If you've been bartending for 30 years, you're a master bartender. Do you know what I mean? It's like we can't help it. We have the practice. We have it in. We might feel like, you know, young and even like I feel like, oh, I have so much more to learn. I do, but I go to these conferences and I'm always hungry to be, I always like tell my son, you know, make sure you're the stupidest one in the room because then you're always learning, you know. And I'm getting too high up there. I'm starting to, I have to bring the baton down and start teaching, right? But I still, that's why I like this space, because we're bringing each other in, we're learning. I like that you're thinking in the future where alcohol is popular. Like you would be somebody that maybe I could talk to if I have a client that has some special needs. Like we're connecting and networking ourselves here right now too, you know. So
and remember, my mother's
I don't even want to end this.
I know, but here's what's possible. My mother's 103, right? Like, so that's what's possible for us is another 40 years easy. So how are you going to fill that 40-year space, right? Like, it's not like we're almost to the end. I mean, I had a conversation with my mom this morning on the phone, you know, so that's what's possible. So on that note,
I know.
And in respect of time, and yes, please,
I'll come on. We got time. Oh, Nance, thanks so much for coming on. Have the best New Year, and tell Jimmy and your mom and your family. I know how much your family means to you. Thank you so much for taking time away from them and coming on with us. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Karen. It was awesome.
Have the best day ever.
You too.
Bye, Nance.
Bye.
Oh, that was fun.
Good way to end 2025, Sizzle.
It was. Makes me feel young again. I remember me and her would be at parties together. Like, I would be like, wow, I like her. I still do. I think I like her even more.
All right. Happy New Year to all. Happy New Year to everyone around the world. Be safe.
Happy New Year. I went over my time. Oh, well. It was worth it.